Nothing worthwhile. Mediocre podcasting. Today, tomorrow, forever.
A champion from the West.
Now that you've beaten everyone there is to beat, what's next?
A legend of the East. A competition that went too far.
No! That's my brother! No!
Your brother is paralyzed. He can never walk again.
He's going to pay for this.
The only way you'll find him is inside the ring, and you are not good enough! I'll get him.
Now, an untested challenger seeks an unwilling master.
May I help you?
Uncle Xian's going to teach you. My uncle does not teach anyone anymore.
I'm telling you, man, he's greater than a three-headed cat.
You fight before? Yeah, I'm good. It's trained different in America. Your defense stinks.
To learn the art of an ancient combat.
You must learn to be faster than any punch or kick.
A combat where to survive, you must destroy.
Do not let your emotion control you if you want to be warrior.
It's a different culture, different world.
They will fight the ancient way. Just listen. With your mind, your heart, your whole being.
I'll win that fight for you and me.
For honor. For love. For justice. Jean-Claude Van Damme. The power of a warrior. The heart of a champion. Kickboxer.
Live from the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network studios, It's Nothing Worthwhile presents Van Dammit, a podcast about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Here's Evan Moody and Andrew Gruthius.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
Ah, yes, Andrew Gruthius on the other side of the glass. Andrew, you know how we always love to start off Van Dammit, a podcast about Jean-Claude Van Damme. No retreat!
No surrender!
But actually, in honor of today's podcast, in which Andrew and I will be breaking down 1989 Van Damme, perhaps classic kickboxer, I have to say, Nok-Su Cow! Nok-Su Cow! Nok-Su Cow!
How did I know you? How did I know you were going to do that?
Well, you know, White Warrior, wasn't it? Wasn't it White Warrior?
Something like that.
I feel like every Van Damme movie has like a chant, you know, like Kumite, Nok-Su Cow.
Mm.
Actually, I don't know if you know this. I want to let everybody know that I don't really like to advertise this, but I was in Kickboxer 2, the 1991-92 sequel, and my chant
with
was
Sasha Mitchell.
Yes,
Mitchell.
and my chant
Sasha
was,
Mitchell.
My chant was Jew small dick, Jew small.
Speaking of that.
I didn't even realize. I go, wait, they're goofing on me. These, I don't know, whatever it was, Taiwanese, they're goofing on me. I thought
I could have told you that. I mean, we all saw it in the theater. We all saw you.
Yeah,
you know.
I didn't. I did not know. So, welcome live via Zoom and still on the air. I don't think we can really call our newest podcast venture anymore because this is our third episode.
Yes,
as I said before,
we are
on
professionals
the East Coast,
now.
specifically Coral Springs, Florida. My best friend, my partner in crime, Andrew Gruthius. How are things going this lovely Saturday morning?
Good morning. Yes, it is Saturday morning, and it couldn't be a nicer Saturday morning here in sunny Florida. The sun is out, but it's not too hot. I'm looking forward to actually going outside one of these days and experiencing the weather. But I'm enjoying.
Well, hey, that's good. Good for you.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good down here. It's the 7th. I believe it's the 7th night of Hanukkah.
Yes.
So we're getting crazy in South Florida.
I'd like to formally wish all of our Jewish listeners happy Shmuchas.
Yes.
For Hanukkah, and may you have 8 wonderful nights of presents. I don't know, like when I was a kid, I had a whole strategy. Like my brother and I would have like a meeting in his room with like a whiteboard, even when there wasn't whiteboards. Because my mom would be like, "You can get 8 small gifts,
or one
you
big,
can get one or 2 big gift." And my brother and I would have to strategize notes. Marking, cigarette butts on the floor.
Well, we had a thing where there was a pile in our old dining room before the renovations.
Excuse me.
My mom and dad would have 3 piles of gifts, and we could pick one each night. So of course, we'd always go for the biggest one, and the biggest one ended up being like a stack of notebooks for the next 15 years of school. Mom liked to trick us that way, and the small one would be like like a video, like a video game, or something that we really wanted. But yeah, we've had a nice Hanukkah so far. I've spent a couple nights with my family, gotten some nice gifts, given some nice gifts, and it's been joyous. Did you? I am noticing you are looking really, really good today in that tank. Was that a Hanukkah gift? I haven't seen that one before. Usually, we approve our wardrobe for the broadcasts before each broadcast.
You know what? This did not go through the production team at the last of the action.
No, the seamstress was calling me. She's like, "What is Evan going to wear today?" I said, "I don't know.
Yeah,
it'll be a surprise."
Well, it's Saturday. Got up. It was a little chilly out here in Arizona. Took the old doggy Braxton puppy Shango for a walk and did a little quick workout. Today's a big day in the Moody Verdugo household. We have Marie's nephew's. Michael Jr. We have his birthday, and then Marie is doing a friends and family only at her new storefront. She's moving about a quarter of a mile down on the same street, just south.
So it's a new. Spot. So it's a new you.
Yes, it is. It's a new, bigger,
better, gooder.
I had a friend, like, even in 7th grade, we used to goof on Vince McMahon. I had a friend. He still Facebook messages from Oceanside from time to time, Mike Sabatino. Mike, if you're ever listening, man, we had so much fun, but we used to goof on Vince. That.
Wait, hold on. Mike Sabatino?
Yes, do you know
Mike Sabatino from Oceanside?
Come on, are you being...
Never heard of him.
Yeah. All right, well... But we used to, always make fun of Vince's over-the-top delivery, bigger, better, better.
I love that. We still do it. Speaking of that, I watched SmackDown last night. I enjoyed it.
I watched most of it. So obviously, Brock Lesnar was a real main piece, and what was interesting to me about SmackDown, not to get too much on a wrestling jaunt, but Brock was really on the mic for quite a bit. Now, it was nice to see that because I thought he did a good job. Him and Sammy kind of stepped over each other a little bit from time to time, but it was definitely fun. You saw a different side of Brock Lesnar. He's kind of almost like a full baby face, almost a comedy.
Completely, I would say.
Baby face. And my only thing is, I just feel like perhaps, Andy, are they rushing Brock and Roman? Now it looks like they've been announced for the day one pay-per-view. Originally it was Sami Zayn versus Roman, which I'm not going to say interests me much, but we're going to get Brock and Roman again. I don't think we're going to get, obviously, Brock and Roman for Mania, but maybe we could have held off for the Rumble or something a little bit bigger. I don't know.
Well, I read, and this is all we'll talk about it because I have been enjoying it. I think Brock Lesnar really does move the needle, but I read a great prediction from Mr. Tito.
Well, which was what?
It was I think, a column that came out today. He sees, and I kind of like this because even though I don't want a Brock versus Roman Mania main event, I still think that's where they're headed, unless they get The Rock, which I think is still a possibility.
I think so too.
But if that doesn't happen, I think Roman Brock is their backup, which I think they're going to build up nicely. And if they go in this direction, he thinks that Brock is going to lose to Roman at day one. And wait a second, was it lose to Roman at day one? Or no, Brock wins at day one. No, Brock loses at day one. Then they fight again. As a match on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Brock wins the title. Okay. Brock wins the title. Then Roman enters the Royal Rumble and wins it for the rematch at WrestleMania. I kind of like that. It's like a story. It's what it's supposed to be. It's a story, like a trilogy. So like a new trilogy.
I hear you. I certainly don't mind feuds that go the better part of 6 months or a year. I don't have a problem with that. I don't disagree with you. My only thing would be I don't mind Brock winning. I just think Roman going into the Rumble winning it will get an old school 2015. They're going to boo it right out of the arena because whether or not the fans, I have no problem with it. I think the fans are going to want that fresh face winning the Rumble, going into Mania. Nothing really per se against Roman because everyone seems to love this run of Roman. I just think that's going to get booed out of the building. Like Roman again. Even this cool heel version, but it's coming. You mean Roman again, just as the winner of the Royal Rumble, or in the main event of WrestleMania? No, I think everyone knows he's going to be at the main event of Mania. I don't think. Well,
look, it was an interesting idea, and certainly hasn't happened before. So I thought that would be kind of cool. But either way, it's got me watching right now, which is more than it has been in the last couple of years. So. Whatever it is, it is.
Yes. Yeah, SmackDown, obviously. SmackDown just has a feel. I want to watch it almost live. Raw, unfortunately for me, I haven't. I'll watch it usually.
I watched it this week. They had the Edge. Who was it? Edge and
Miz.
The Miz. Yeah, I know. Losing it. Yes.
Why are you? Hold on. Why are you publicly shaming your boyfriend?
I'm not publicly shaming my boyfriend. I am. Wait, did I just say that out loud? Look, we can't deny that Miz is a very attractive man, but Maurice is hotter though.
She looks
is.
Good.
Yeah, but no, I think they put together, or they are putting together something cool. So we'll see. But in any case.
Well, Groo, I'll take that pause and move on to Van Damness.
Van Damness.
Podcast, it was the S1E3 for Van Dammit, a podcast about Jean-Claude Van Damme. Groo and I broke down 1988's Bloodsport. Today, Andrew, we are going to discuss and break down 1989's Kickboxer. starring our aforementioned hero, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Groo, heading into today's movie, which we'll talk about in a little bit, 1989's Kickboxer. You're looking at Bloodsport. A year later, you're looking at Kickboxer. What are you hoping to see out of Jean-Claude and overall the movie?
I'm hoping to see probably the same thing that we're all hoping to see, in that some evolution on his part as far as his acting. Does he command the screen, a little bit? You look at performances of anybody, like as their career goes forward, you want to see, each move be better than the last. So I think that's what we're looking for a little something new, something exciting, and maybe, a step up in the production values. I think Bloodsport was a step up from No Retreat, No Surrender. And I would say, we'd go into this hoping that that Kickboxer would be a step up from Bloodsport. So I think in every way, in writing, music, directing, acting, whatever. So I think that's the hope going into a movie like this.
Well, did 1989's Kickboxer deliver? Well, we'll discuss that in a little bit. But first, we're going to try a new segment. So Andrew, get it queued up. Can I give the intro?
Go ahead.
All right, it's time for Dammit, Spanning the Universe.
Dammit, Spanning the Universe.
Spanning the Universe is brought to you by New You Life Center. Begin a new you. Check out all of their medical weight loss programs at www.newyoulifecenters.com. Give them a call at 602-274-0068. They're moving to a bigger place. Tell Moody and Groo sent you, receive that big 15% off your first service. A big Dammit thank you to New You Life Center. Groo, we're going to span the universe. We're going to take a look at the latest news involving our favorite 80s action stars. I mean, if everybody else could talk about, on the Last of the Action podcast, Hero Studio, network, damn it. So can I, Groo, we'll start off with the head guy, the Maca, the main player, the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour. These action stars will start off with Sylvester Stallone.
Thank God.
Through this week, we learned that Sly Stallone was back on set for the filming of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Stallone has released a first look of himself in his costume via Instagram. The photo, which was actually deleted from Stallone's account, Groo, shows the actor in his royal blue flight jacket, complete with the gold trim and multitude of zippers. This all checks out, Groo, as Stallone will be back to portray his character Stakar Ogard from one of the post-credit moments from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. In one of the many post-credit scenes we are able to see in the last installment of Guardians 2, we see Stakar, Stallone, gathering a group of Ravager leaders to set off on an unknown mission. In the lineup of leaders, we see Charlie 27, Ving Rhames, Martin X, Michael Rosenbaum, Alita, Michelle Yeoh, and Mainframe, voiced by one Miley Cyrus. There's some history behind the group of Ravagers, as they were initially part of the Guardians team in the original 1916's Guardian comics. We know that Stallone will be reprising his role in the upcoming film. Last week, Groo, director James Gunn took to Instagram to share a first look at Guardians' traveling cast on their first day of filming. Along with Gunn, we saw one of our wrestling favorites, Dave Bautista, Palm Klemenoff, Sean Gunn, Chris Pratt, Karen Gillian, and Zoe Saldana. With the many group of returning faces, we have seen Will Poulter, who's set to play Adam Warlock. That's a big rumor in the Marvel universe, I know that. Mm-hmm. Stallone and Gunn's relationship on camera goes far beyond the reaches of the galaxy and enters even into the DC universe, where you remember Stallone was the voice of the part shark, part human hybrid character, King Shark, in the Suicide Squad sequel. Groo, what do you think about Stallone's reprisal of his Guardians of the Galaxy role, and are you even aware of this?
I'm aware of it. I'm also aware that, so now it's Metallica and Sylvester Stallone who are now collaborating with Hannah Montana. Is that what you're telling me?
She's apparently the voice of one of the Marvel characters.
I didn't see. I'm sort of done with the Marvel stuff because
really,
because it's so out of whack at this point. Like, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but the reason that I'm sort of out of it is because superhero movies to me were the best ones. Were always about an extraordinary person in an ordinary world. There is nothing ordinary.
I feel like I've heard this before. Go ahead.
Well, you probably have, because I've said it many times, I think. But
in an ordinary world.
Yeah. The best superhero movies were always grounded in reality. And the only part that was not reality was the superheroes themselves. Well, now, if you look at these Avengers things, these are not ordinary worlds anymore. The Batman versus Superman, like, these cities don't exist. Like, so there's nothing for the audience to relate to. It's all just loud nonsense to me at this point. That doesn't mean it can't go in the opposite direction. But, hey, Stallone has always been one of the few who could always get me to go into a movie theater, no matter what. So, if his role is expanded in this one, as I've heard it to be, I will probably end up going to see it. I didn't see the second one.
You didn't. Well, my only question would be: you're not happy. I mean, you're a big Stallone guy. You're not happy to see Sly in a major production at this late in his career. If
he's a major part of it, then yes. If it's like him in the Spy Kids, it's or him just a little cameo. I'm not interested. But if he's like the main villain, or if he, I really don't know what he is, because I'm not really familiar with the whole Guardians of the Galaxy story. But if he's gonna get his chance to be Sly, then yeah. But if he's gonna play second fiddle to Chris Pratt, who apparently is like the new, he's gonna be like the next Indiana Jones, the next Rocky, the next Rambo. Like, apparently Chris Pratt is like all of these. They're making him into all these 80s action heroes rolled into one. But Stallone's always entertaining. There's no reason I wouldn't want to see it for him and him alone.
I think he's going to get. Obviously he's going to play second fiddle to the main cast.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a strong supporting role. Did you? Were you aware that he voiced King Shark in the Suicide sequel?
No. I knew that he was part of it, a small part of it. I did not see either Suicide Squad. Like I said, the only, actually, honestly, and you'll hate me for this, the only two superhero movies I'm looking forward to in any way is, and for the same reason, is the new Spider-Man, only because I'm hearing that they're bringing in elements of the previous, Spider-Mans, which to me is interesting. I think it's ridiculous, but it looks like it'll be fun. And that Flash movie, just because they're bringing back Michael Keaton as Batman, but literally that's the only literally that's the only reason. And and maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. But I'm literally going to see it just for the fun of seeing that. But these superhero movies, they're just they're a dime a dozen at this point, and I'm just kind of done.
All right, so literally, I'm getting Andrew Gruthius down on superhero movies. Maybe we'll check out Stallone. I like the Guardians. I'll probably go and see it, or I'll see it in some form or fashion. And
is it one of those that's just going to theaters?
I like James. Would I see it in the theater? Sure.
No, but I mean, is it one of those that's available on both?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think for the Marvel stuff. For example, they just put Shang-Chi and the Lord of the 17th. That movie just went on the Disney Plus platform, which I watched. So I think they'll put it in the movie theater first, run it, and then maybe 2 months later they'll put it on the platform. So
hey, if it's this is one of those, if it's supposed to be good, I'll check it out.
All right, Groo will span the universe and go to Bruce Willis. Coming soon is debuting an exclusive clip from the action thriller Deadlock, featuring Emmy and Golden Globe winner Bruce Willis. Saban Films will release the movie in theaters, on demand, and on digital on December 3rd, 2021. Groo, the description of the new Willis film is as follows, and I quote, Bruce Willis stars as Ron Whitlock, a wanted criminal leading a team of mercenaries on a mission of vengeance. Convinced that the government is working against them, the merciless group brutally seizes an energy plant and holds everyone inside hostage. With the nearby town on the brink of massive flooding and destruction, it's up to one retired Army elite ranger, Mac Carr, played by Patrick Muldoon, to save thousands of innocent lives before it's too late. Groo, please refer to your video screen as we will watch the trailer for the Bruce Will. Oh wait, let me share sound.
Go for it.
So we will watch the new Bruce Willis action movie trailer. It's Deadlock.
Ronald Whitlock? I'm not sure if you heard, but there's been an incident.
My son?
Cops killed him.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
It's crystal clear to me.
I did not think I'd see your ass in work today.
We come from tougher cloth than that.
Weren't you like ex-military or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a fugitive. You killed 2 cops.
I got a bone to pick.
Bone.
For my son.
If things don't go to my satisfaction, I'll flood this whole place.
We're all gonna drown.
Sorry, dude. Got a town to save.
There's a rogue hostage with some sort of military background.
Find him.
I gotta figure out a way to stop this fool.
They got guns. You got a goddamn gun. They got better guns.
Open another gate.
They're gonna flood the entire county.
That is beautiful. This is my legacy.
You're crazy, man.
You should try a little bit of crazy.
Andrew?
Well,
Deadlock stars, like we said, Patrick Muldoon from Starship Troopers, directed by Jared Cohen, who wrote the screenplay along with Cam Cannon, who wrote USS Indianapolis Men of Courage. Groo, any thoughts on Bruce Willis, the new movie Deadlock?
Yes. Aside from the fact that it's got a straight-to-video title and a straight-to-video cast, with the exception of Bruce Willis, it actually, to me, it looks like a step up from what Bruce has been doing lately. Everything Bruce is doing, he's doing these. He's basically got the Nicolas Cage model of acting. He shows up for a couple of days, does 5 minutes in a movie, and then they market it and they put his name on it and his picture, making people think he's the star of it, and people rent it or buy it, and realizing it's just another generic direct to streaming movie. This looks better than that, if only because it looks like Bruce Willis is giving his all. He's not just standing there saying lines. It looks like he's actually giving it a shot. So that looks, and it's an interesting plot to me. I love revenge movies.
Right, so I think here again he's going to play like, it looks like, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know your take on the trailer, but it looks like he's playing like a good bad guy, like he's going to do something
like
bad,
an anti-hero.
He's trying to get revenge for, I think his son was killed.
Yeah,
if I'm
it's basically like what I think. I mean, it looks like kind of what they tried to do with Death Wish, which suffered from bad timing, and it probably could have been better. And it probably could have, it just didn't. It seemed like a missed opportunity because I thought that looked amazing, and it was fun, but it wasn't it wasn't what I thought it should have been. But this one looks like Bruce Willis is really sort of trying to do something good. So hopefully, I would wait to see, the reactions to the movie first. This isn't like an opening night wait online kind of thing for me, but it looks fun. It definitely looks fun.
Yeah, you mentioned bad timing and missed opportunities. That's probably the story of my life, or maybe more specifically, the story of my sex life. I agree with you. It does look like it's a step up a little bit from typical straight to video, straight to digital fare.
Yeah.
Patrick Muldoon is, fairly.
Yeah, but in what world is Patrick Muldoon a top billing over Bruce Willis? That bothers me a little bit. What are they going for there?
Yeah, the only other thing I would say is Bruce does look a little old.
He's getting old, but that's okay.
All right,
act the age. Well, I like it.
All right, well, listen, fans. Bruce Willis Deadlock looks like it could be a decent new movie for Bruce Willis. So check that out. Groo,
get on that. Where there's a Willis, there's a way, guys. I haven't heard you talking about Deadlock. Come on.
Yeah, jerk face ninnies. Groo, we're going to span the universe. Our last 80s action hero, Steven Seagal. Groo, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this very interesting film note, as there very well could be a reboot of the 1992 Seagal hit action movie Under Siege. Deadline reports that this project is underway at Warner Brothers, with Timo Tiajanto directing and Umar Al-Min writing. I apologize if I got the names wrong. The apparent plan is to stream the film on HBO Max. There's no word yet if Seagal will reprise his role as Casey Ryback. If this is a reboot, I'm going to probably say a hard no that Seagal will be in it. Remember Casey Ryback, the ex-Navy SEAL turned cook, who was the only person in the movie that was able to stop a group of terrorists from taking control of a U.S. battleship. The original Groo, you may be remembered, was directed by Andrew Davis, grossed over $156 million. That's an amazing take when it was released and spawned in when it was released, and of course it spawned the 1995 sequel, certainly not as good, Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, which still minted over $104 million. Tommy Lee Jones, Groo, and Gary Busey starred in the first one. Groo, is the world clamoring for an Under Siege reboot that will apparently go straight to streaming?
No, because without Seagal, what is Under Siege? If anything more than just a generic, action movie. Steven Seagal is the force in that thing. So if it's got nothing to do with him, it's basically like the Karate Kid reboot. It's just slapping the name on it just to try to get those extra few bucks. Now, with that being said, Seagal kind of pisses me off because his first 5 or 6 movies, he had a hell of a run, and then he just he went nuts or something. Everybody, nobody wanted to work with him. Everybody just all this kind of stuff, and you could see with the kinds of things that he did, he just wasn't. I don't know, but Under Siege is not even my favorite Seagal movie. My favorite Seagal movie is a movie called Out for Justice, which I think came out a year before Under Siege. But Under Siege is a very, very solid action movie, and you and I went to see the sequel together during the summer at camp. We liked it.
It's not good.
We liked it.
I didn't like it.
We walked out of there. We said that wasn't bad. We liked it.
Okay.
What was bad? Go ahead.
That may be the case, but I remembering it really paled in comparison.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, so would you not say that Under Siege was the mainstream high watermark for Seagal in terms of cinema?
Yes, definitely. It's got to be his biggest hit. It's the one everybody seems to know. Good character. One of the few that they made him get rid of his ponytail. And it was and you got Erica Eleniak in that movie and her bodacious boobies. Tommy Lee Jones was a great villain. So was Gary Busey.
See, there is where I think the film is a winner, because for the most part, if you're comparing to Van Damme, I think I think Seagal is sort of. This is, and I don't want to get on a whole Seagal rant, but he's a kind of a one-note character to me. He doesn't show a lot of depth. Where you do get some depth with Van Damme, some emotionality.
Yeah.
Where I think Under Siege was a winner was, and it's the things that you talk about, was the casting, the little things.
Yes.
You got some. Tommy Lee Jones was. I remember just being like so impressed with him with Under Siege. Like he really, he fleshed out that movie. He really, So I think. So if you're asking me, which nobody's asking, however, I agree with you, Andrew. I don't think the world is in need of an Under Siege reboot. But you're probably right. Maybe we'll get it, and it'll probably not be good, and it'll be straight to streaming.
But if Seagal can, get himself into some shape and drop the attitude a little bit, he can. I mean, he's not ancient. He can still command. He had a screen presence in those movies.
Yeah. Well, I will say this: listening to your comments, I don't know about. I listen. Attitude. I know he's a quirky guy. I know he's got some quirky thoughts. I think the other thing that he's been exposed that there have been people that have made accusations about his behavior on set, even with female co-stars and whatnot. I've definitely read that as well. I think Andrew, for Seagal today. I don't know if he's at peace with it, but I mean, if he's looking for a paycheck, he'll star in any B-C list actioneer, and
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with working for a living.
No. You mentioned. I don't think unless it's a very special project. He's done he did the cameo in Machete. He's done. Like every couple of years, there's sort of a little bit more of a mainstream project where he gets a little minor run in. But I think his days of, in the theater, top billing, Steven Seagal, I would say, are for the most part over.
I agree. By the way,
it's over, Johnny.
It's over. By the way, who hasn't at this point been accused of something? Like, is there anybody who name a star that there hasn't been something? Oh, he cheated on a 4th grade spelling test. Let's cancel him.
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, Steven Seagal has had some fairly serious accusations.
That's true.
And any accusation is, I'm assuming, serious. But it's I know, and I'm not here to bash, but he's had more than one young lady come out and make a claim about his behavior on set. And yes, many co-stars have come out and, I don't know if it's an accusation, just talked about what a pain in the ass he was to work with. And, but listen, just like you, I'm always hoping for a rebound and hoping that he gets, his one more day in the proverbial sun, so to speak.
Absolutely. I hope
so. That was Spanning the Universe. Groo, let's focus back to our guy, Jean-Claude. Today's Van Dammit podcast, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Kickboxers, brought to you by New You Life Center. The journey is everything. Tonight, friends and family, new opening. Phoenix Entrepreneur Magazine named them in the top 15 med spas to watch in 2021. We're hoping for great things. Just like for Steven Seagal, we're hoping for great things for New You Life Center in 2022. Check out all of their medical aesthetics and cosmetic injectables at www.newoulifecenters.com. Give them a call at 602-274-0068. Tell them Moody and Groo sent you from Nothing Worthwhile and receive a big 15% off your first service. Thank you to New You Life Center. Groo, Kickboxer is a 1989 American martial arts film and is the first entry into the Kickboxer film series, which, no, we will not be covering. Though I am familiar somewhat with Kickboxer number 2. Groo, Kickboxer was released in the U.S. on September 8th, 1989, and it did spawn several sequels, none of which we will cover today and hopefully in the future. I mean, if we're doing a Kickboxer 2 podcast, we are really struggling.
Yeah, we that means we've done every other movie ever made in the history of anything.
Groo, not a lot in terms of production notes, but the casting for Kickboxers follows. Jean-Claude Van Damme as Curt Sloane, Dennis Chan as Jian, Haskell V. Anderson III as Winston Taylor, Ka-Ting Ling as Freddie Lee, Dennis Alexio as Eric Sloane, Michael Kesey as Tong Po, Rochelle Ashana as Miley, and Richard Fu as Tao Lu. Groo, you may be aware
Who are
that,
the strippers? Who are the strippers in the thing?
Oh, Lord, yeah, that was a great scene. Dennis Alexio, who plays Eric Sloane, was a world light heavyweight and world cruiserweight kickboxing champion in real life. Dennis Alexio was known as the Terminator. He played Eric Sloane, Jean-Claude Curt's older brother. He's considered to be one of, if not the greatest heavyweight kickboxing champions in the sport history, really before UFC took off. His record is an outstanding 70-2 with 65 wins by way of knockout. Alexio developed a strong friendship with Jean-Claude, and the two made the Kickboxer, the first movie together. Alexio retired from fighting, but appears at many functions for both the film and the martial arts community. Andrew, what can I tell you? To kill some time, please refer to your screen at this time. Hold on, we're going to share sound. And
more visual aids. Look at that guy. Wow.
Let's take a look at some highlights. It's Eric Sloane, Dennis Alexio. Let's take a look at a minute or two of some highlights.
Yeah.
Of Dennis, the
look at him.
Alexio.
Oof. Love this 80s music.
Look at
that. Go after him, yeah. Chocolate titties. Is that Arn Anderson? Oof. Wow. Jesus. Oof.
John Cena.
Wow. Zap. Wop.
See ya.
Damn. Oof. Knock him out. Knock him out.
See ya.
Wow. This guy's pretty impressive.
Right, Groo?
I'd like to see a post-fight interview because.
Well, Groo, that's Dennis Alexio. Groo, what was the plot for Kickboxer? We know that Curt Sloane is the younger brother and cornerman of Eric the Eliminator Sloane, the United States kickboxing world champion. After another successful title defense, Eric is enticed by the media to compete in Thailand, where kickboxing was started, to further establish his legacy. Groo, did you like the setup? They got like the press conference, and I don't know. Did you feel, actually, all joking aside, that Eric Sloane, the Dennis Alexio character, they play him up to be a wee bit arrogant in the beginning of the film?
Yes, but I think part of that is because his voice was so obviously dubbed.
Why did they do that?
Well, I think
it's like you hear Van Damme's accent, and they play up, which that's another question I want to ask you, but it's like they're dubbed, but they're like almost using their own voices, perhaps? What's going on?
No, I think Van Damme, it was definitely his voice. I am guessing that they had somebody else do Eric Sloane's voice because probably just because the guy wasn't an actor. He's a fighter. So, unfortunately, I don't know why they would choose. Here, the question is, why wouldn't they just use someone with an accent, with a Brussels accent? Like, if, they're supposed to be brothers, right? So if they're going to dub the voice, why not match up the accents at least a little bit? Unless they're just trying to make no sense, which apparently they did.
They're like brothers!
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Did they actually... I feel like they did try to explain the different accents. I think Van Damme at one point says something like, I was born in Brussels and my brother was born in the United States. But like, I guess you're right. I don't think I could ever remember.
Yeah, but he was old, but his brother was older.
I hear you, but it's like, I don't know, maybe when they were... I don't know. They lived in the U.S. and the family moved to.
Maybe either way, it's just like it's very cheap writing, and I just, to me, look, this is basically Bloodsport 2. You've got I mean, you could see. Here's the thing: you can see what's going to happen to this guy from the opening frame. He's going to get either killed or beaten within an inch of his life, and Van Damme, just like Bloodsport. He had. Donald Gibb was his American buddy. and they're in a foreign town, and they're getting a little arrogant, and becomes like a grudge match. Same deal, but
all right.
Yeah.
Let's just end the podcast here.
No. You're saying the setup. The setup is the setup. They're in Thailand. They're in Thailand within the first 2 minutes, which is fine. No, they really are. They are, right?
I know, but here's the thing: they're on this gondola. And here's the other thing. I'm sorry, but both guys are wearing cut off T-shirts. They're
I know.
Necks. They're oiled, and they're sitting on top of each other. It looked like a homosexual couple.
Yes, I was going to say that they're sitting together with their arms around each other,
on each other's. They're sitting on each other's laps. I'm
do you know? Are they high school sisters? I mean, what? I don't understand. Is that wrong to say?
And Jean-Claude's so ripped, but the shirt he's wearing shows all of his meat of his pecs, and it looks almost like a bra. I don't know. I never saw two straight guys look sort of suspiciously homosexual, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm they're on this gondola, and Jean-Claude's sitting 1 millimeter from Dennis Alessio.
Yeah.
I'm
you know what line kept going through my head? The principal from Ferris Bueller. He's like, so that's how it is in their family. Remember that? That's what I was thinking of with that. So, yeah, I mean, look, the setup is the setup. We all want to get to, the plot here. So why waste time in the United States? Get them right to Thailand, and kick things off.
As Bon Jovi once said, "Don't bore us."
Yeah.
Get to the chorus. So, as Groo mentioned, Eric and Kurt traveled to Bangkok.
Bangkok.
To
wait, what was the joke in there? Wait, what was the joke early on? Somebody got the capital of. I think Eric got the capital wrong, or he's like, "Let's go to Hong Kong or something." Or where? What? Do you remember? No, it was fun. I'm trying to remember it. Shit. Because I remember I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny." But anyway, yeah, and Van Damme, the Rhodes Scholar that he is. The geographical master corrected his older brother and said, "No, we're going to Bangkok."
Yeah, thank you, Jean-Claude. So Eric and Kurt travel to aforementioned Bangkok to fight Tong the Tiger Po, Thailand's undefeated top fighter. As Groo mentioned, Eric is supremely confident, and now I do want to discuss this scene. Kurt, Jean-Claude, becomes apprehensive as he walks into the opponent's locker room and sees Tong Po kicking a concrete wall or pillar in preparation for the fight. He runs in and he begs Eric not to fight, saying, "Hey, this guy's a monster, this guy's an animal." But Eric dismisses any concerns. I don't know, Groo. This might have been, I don't want to, but this is actually maybe one scene that kind of resonated to me. Sort of, if there is an iconic scene from Kickboxer. Kurt hears the banging and sees Tong Po smashing wood. Any thoughts on that scene?
Because you can't win, Rock!
You can't win!
You can't win! Yeah, I mean, look, this is that scene from this movie. This is where Van Damme is, you remember when he watched in Bloodsport, and I'm going to keep going back to this, when he's sitting in the crowd and he's watching Donald Gibb get his, play to the crowd. He's getting nervous. Watch out, he's going to hurt you. And, of course, boom, boom, boom. It's the same tropes. It's the same story here.
Wait, what does he say again to Donald Gibb? Let me hear that again.
He says, watch out behind you. He's, stop screwing around, basically. Yeah. So, yeah, the younger, wiser person sees the danger, while the older, arrogant, more experienced fighter doesn't. And they get crippled, and you get your obligatory hospital scenes. Look, it's by the numbers. That doesn't mean it's not entertaining. So
I'm sorry. There's nothing more we could do. He grabs the doctor. He's like, "You go to make him
yes,
again."
Yes. Oh God, I love that. I mean,
well,
and then wait. We cannot skip over. I'm the sob, the Jean-Claude sob in the hospital Like when what Winston? What's his name? His friend, the African American guy. What was the character's name? I forgot.
Winston Taylor.
Winston Taylor, yeah.
Winston
so
Taylor.
He's standing there like he's still over, and Van Damme is just like sobbing in the thing. You hear like the '80s synth music playing in the back. Like I'm like, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah, and then Winston Taylor wasn't sort of a carbon copy of every ex-patient.
No, not at all. Not at all.
The crazy guy with the aviator sunglasses and the semi-military garb.
Yeah, he's the one American guy sitting in this crowd of underground fighters, and
who's running away from something in his past.
And within 5 minutes, they're best friends, and they're both ready, and they're both out to avenge the horrible wrong that needs to be righted.
Well, Groo mentioned the horrible wrongs. We know that the first round is a one-sided affair. Tung Po dominates Eric with his superior strength and knowledge of Thailand's unorthodox kickboxing rules, which, by the way, means to me that there's no fucking referee in this movie. I mean, there's more.
I didn't see any.
Unrequited blows, and the referee doesn't even get involved. Of course, Kurt. Jean-Claude throws in the towel, but Tung Po kicks the towel out of the ring. Yes, Andrew kicks the towel out of the ring and continues the assault.
And you heard Duke behind him going, "Throw the towel, throw the towel, throw the damn towel!"
Right. And Jean-Claude goes, "No!" And of course, Tung Po drops the vicious elbow into the back, immobilizing Eric. And then, of course, in a further indignation, rips apart Eric's World Championship belt. In an apparent nod to Medusa Michelli throwing the women's
WWE I was hoping you would say that. Interestingly enough, they must have had a lot of Scotch tape there, because by the time they got into the ambulance, the belt was perfectly back together. Yeah,
you know what? I should have read that on IMDb, but I didn't see that. Of course, yes, Kurt retrieves the belt and leaves with his brother on a stretcher. And fight officials leave him on the street. Yes, Andrew.
Oh my God! Yeah,
we have an apparent paraplegic on the streets of Bangkok.
Yeah, they took the time. They took the time to like put him in the stretcher and take care of him medically in the building. And then one look from the bad guy in the audience, and they're just throwing him out on the street. And nobody's picking up on this.
You throw him out like a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Well, we've mentioned Winston Taylor, I guess a sort of retired United States Army Special Forces member. As Groo mentioned, he ends up and they become best friends somehow. And he helps the pair by driving him to the hospital. I think he gets him, like he mentions, he's going to take him to the best hospital. And as a result of Tung Po's brutal attack, Eric is paralyzed from the waist down and will never be able to walk again. So as Andrews mentioned, here's the setup. An enraged Kurt, Jean-Claude Van Damme, vows to avenge his brother's injury.
But first, wait, I have to interrupt because
go ahead.
Because this resonated with me.
Go ahead.
Because because while all this is going on, like I thought about you and me and what you and I would do in this situation. Okay, our dear compadre is laid up in the hospital. He's probably in a coma. He's paralyzed. So what would you and I do? What would be the first thing that you and I would do?
If you're asking me, I don't know if I'd probably call the airlines, book a flight, and get the hell out of there.
Or we could do what they did and go right to the strip club.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Which is pretty much what they did, right? Well, like, how do we drown our sorrows? Hey, I know a great place for lunch, and then they're at the.
Eric, I'm so sorry. I love you, brother.
It's cool, man.
I love you. I'll be back.
Let me find an ATM. Tomorrow. Let me find an ATM.
Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Get some cash.
That's pretty much what they do. Gotta respect that. Because Eric would want it that way.
Probably would. Actually,
probably would. You're right.
Yeah, he has.
By the way, how sexist is the movie? He takes that girl. They get to the hotel. He just takes that girl upstairs. He's like, she wants to make out with the champ. He just goes up. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, tap that shit. Yeah.
I miss the 80s.
Yeah.
'80s notwithstanding, Kurt searches for a trainer to teach him Muay Thai. But he has remember that scene? He's laughed out of the gym by all the local fighters.
Yeah. Of course. Like, of course. Yeah, they're gonna this fucking monster among men, ripped to shreds, and they're gonna laugh him out of the gym. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but it just they almost make like the people are like savages laughing at the white guy. So eventually Taylor tells Kurt about Jean Chow, a famous Muay Thai crew living in a remote area of Thailand. Before introducing him to Jean, they go out drinking, they go to that go-go bar, and Taylor confides in Kurt, implying that in his past he left a friend to die during Vietnam War, so he feels that he owes it in his memory to help Kurt. Although reluctant at first, Jean agrees to train Kurt, after having him retrieve groceries from his niece, Miley. While at her store, Kurt prevents the goons sent by Freddie Lee, a higher-up in the racketeering organization and Tong Po's manager, from stealing money from Miley. So, Groo, take us through this part of the movie. Again, I don't know. I don't know.
This is the part of the movie.
Ripping from Rocky IV, ripping from Karate Kid.
Well, this is the part of the movie where he's assimilating into the Thailand culture. You got to have your '80s montages in there. He's got to be exploring a little bit, to clean up the monotony of just revenge on the brain. You got to introduce the female lead here. You have boxes to check, and they do that because he goes and sees his daughter, and then obviously two young people. They look at each other, they make goo goo eyes. Next thing you know, they're making out in the corner. And that's what it's supposed to be. So, because you got to have more than just that dude and his brother cheering for him in the audience. You got to have a girl in there. And they do that. They do that no better or worse than any other movie of this ilk. So you need the girlfriend. So that's how you get it.
Well, you just referenced the training scenes, the training montage. What did you think of the training scenes with Jean-Claude and Kurt and Jean? What'd you think?
Well, here's what bothers me, because Jean-Claude, I believe, did all the fight choreography. Like, he designed everything. As far as and while the individual moves look good, I don't understand why the actual fighting has to feel and look so fake. And the actual training, it's just like everything. I mean, they're trying. I figured this would be a chance to try to get away from the chopsocky kind of, vibe, but with the sounds and and the clearly missed, like the misses, and it just seems very, very fake, and it's hard to take it seriously when it's that over the top fake. So that really bothered me, and it bothered me because Van Damme was directly involved in the choreography. So it should have been better, I would think.
Yeah. Well, clearly he has a gift for the splits. So, I was watching the scenes where Jean has him hooked up to that contraption, and he's like spreading his legs.
He did the same thing in Bloodsport. Like he loves to show off that he can do that. Now, hey, if you got it, flaunt it. But make us believe. You have to make us believe.
Yeah, it felt a little homoerotic to me. He's doing splits with everything dangling in the wind.
Well,
dangling. And the other thing I remember was a little bit.
I didn't see you run away screaming.
Well, he's having Van Damme strike the tree, and he's always like and then finally he breaks the tree, and he's like, John!
Yeah. So when he doesn't break the tree, his hand hurts. Then he breaks the tree, and he doesn't hurt at all. But look, again, we're making excuses for everything, and I think they're valid excuses because that's kind of how it was done with movies like this at this time. So
I agree. I do agree with that statement.
Yeah.
While training, Kurt drunkenly beats up some of Freddie Lee's thugs. in a bar fight that was actually orchestrated by Jean, who convinces Freddie Lee to arrange a match between Kurt and Tung Po. It is determined, Gru, that just like a good WWE pay-per-view, that they're going to have stipulations, Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank. So they're going to fight the ancient way, which both fighters are going to have their hands wrapped in hemp rope. They're going to coat it in resin, and they're going to dip it into broken glass to make them deadly weapons. So
this is like Mick Foley.
Gru. Yeah, what do you think about the fighting the ancient way?
Where's Cactus Jack and Terry Funk? Let's get it on, man. This sounds good to me.
You're like an ECW pay-per-view.
I was excited about that. I was like, all right, throw it, because now it's like no holds barred, and it's basically to the death if you're going to use that, right? So
it's like a street fight.
Yeah. So this is to me, this is the filmmaker's way of raising the stakes, as it were, and it works. It works for what it is.
Well, to raise the stakes even higher, we get a little subplot that Freddie Lee is arranging to have the fight fixed and borrows $1 million from the crime syndicate's boss. And then, of course, several days prior to the match, Jean's daughter, Miley, is kidnapped. She's beaten up, and she is raped by Tung Po. I'll just say, I know the movie wants to heighten the stakes and establish Tung Po as this over-the-top baddie.
Yeah.
Listen, I know it's the 80s, but the rape deal was, I thought, a bit much. That's all.
Not more than a bit. It's got nothing. It's we already hate the guy. Why? You don't need to pile on the tragedy to at this point. Although the movie needs to flesh out its running time. So. But look, the 80s was a decade of excess, and this would be considered excessive, and I'm guessing that's why they left it in,
Well,
to get people talking about it.
Is Eric is kidnapped. By the way, Eric is the most
the unluckiest bastard.
Well, first of all, he's the most ripped paraplegic I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
the guy's like literally. Muscles, with he's got like the, like the baby oil. I mean, he's just ripped.
And the porn stash.
Kidnapped, porn stash, and really over the top is they kill the dog.
Oh,
they killed the dog, Gru.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot
about
that.
I'm a lover of animals.
Yeah, you're a dog lover now. Me, I don't give a shit, but I still looked at that. No, I'm just kidding. But
Ashton, come here.
No. I thought he was sleeping. He's awake now?
Yeah.
No, this is excessive. It's like, just let's pour it all on. Let's put as much as we can on this and fight. So the audience is really, really 100,000% on Kurt's side, even though they already were. So, but again, it's another excessive thing that if you look at movies of this type, they all do it. So it's annoying, but if you don't like it, fast forward.
So apparently the dog's name is Kiki. I'm looking at my notes. And Taylor comes
That makes it even worse. That's a stripper name. Don't you dare.
They're supposed to take Kiki into town, perhaps to try to save the dog for treatment, and Miley confesses to him about her rape and reveals that she has not told Kurt, insisting that his mind must be clear for his fight with Tung Po. And to that end, she begs Taylor to help find Eric, but he is, of course, reluctant to cross Freddie Lee. So we have the setup for the big fight.
Mm-hmm.
To save his brother's life, Kurt is instructed by Freddie Lee to go the distance with Tung Po before losing the match. Okay, well let's get to the actual match. I definitely have a lot of thoughts about the final bout.
Okay,
you want to go first?
Well, I mean,
you want me to go first?
No, you can.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
You want me to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. One thing that bothered me about the match, just from maybe a rational point of view, their hands are dipped in with hemp rope, tied with hemp rope, dipped with resin, which is gross to begin with, and you have glass. Now, if I remember correctly, no one gets a scratch until the third round, I believe, when Tung Po decides he's going to go to the body, and then all of a sudden you get all these brutal rips and on Van Damme's body.
Yeah.
So that bothered me a little bit. I guess the other thing that's sort of glaring is, again, Andy likes to mention the tropes, and of course, Eric the brother is saved, and he gets into the crowd, and he gives the big whistle with the porn stash, the big thumbs up, and then somehow Van Damme is transformed. I don't know. He has some kind of weird love affair with an eagle throughout the movie. And, you see like the eagle, and like this filtered, camera shot of him like on the beach. And then all of a sudden, he turns it on. So I won't get to obviously the end of the film, but I think those are the two things really that the first one really bothered me. I'm like, well, Van Damme and Tung Po, they don't even have a scratch for the first 2 rounds.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they exploit this whole ancient way fighting with the hands dipped. Andrew, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, well, look, it's completely ridiculous, but at the same time, it was still, it was still fun to watch. I mean, look, it's sounding repetitive because these first few movies of Van Damme's, to me, they're all the same. It's just different characters doing different things. But the story and the setups and the action, which is what we're describing here, is pretty much the same. It's not to be believed. We're supposed to suspend all reality and just enjoy the characters and setup. They don't want us thinking about the fact that it took 3 rounds for someone to get a scratch with this glass and all that crap on the thing. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about what else can we throw into this mess to make it more chaotic. And they do. I could almost hear them having their conferences like about, all right, so what else can we do here to make it completely crazy so every 5 seconds the audience is going to give us another like, whoa! That's, to me, it was kitchen sink filmmaking. Which here, I guess that's the kind of movie it is. It's not my cup of tea, but it it does what they wanted it to do, the filmmakers. So you have to give them a little bit of credit on that. So that's my view.
Well, we'll get Andrew's full review in a little bit, but of course, as we mentioned, Eric comes into the arena with Jean and Taylor. He whistles from the crowd, gives Kurt the good old thumbs up, and the crowd, a la Rocky IV, starts chanting, Naksu Cow, White Warrior, Van Damme, he's going to Hulk up, he's going to rip off he's going to rip off. And of course, in a final bit of maybe ridiculousness, he instructs Miley to cut the ropes from his hands, and now he's going to defeat Tung Po without any sort of help.
He's gonna do it clean. He's gonna
he pummels Tung Po viciously, of course, in typical late 80s Van Damme style, where he hits him and
no death blow.
He looks at the crowd, and he show like the reverb, like he hits him in the stomach and like the waves in Tung Po's stomach, and of course Kurt finally defeats Tung Po. And after kicking Freddie Lee in the face for good measure, which I didn't remember that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kurt celebrates his victory with his brothers and his friends. Hold your thoughts, Groo. What was the box office for Kickboxer? Well, Groo, you like to guess. Let's just say I have the United States. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's domestic. So let me see here. Okay, so I have the total gross. 1989. Groo, you want to give a guess as to what Kickboxer brought in the U.S.?
Yes, I remember this movie. I remember this movie being pretty popular. I'm going to guess around 45 to 50 million in the United States, and maybe worldwide, another. So maybe a total of like 120 around the world.
Well, I have Kickboxer grossing just under 15 mil in the United States.
Just under 15
worldwide growth. Yeah.
Wow, that's way off.
Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Worldwide gross for
for a movie like that. For a movie that makes that kind of money to spawn a franchise. Wow.
Let me see here real quick. I'm looking at blah, 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 blah. I can't even read what they have here. Domestic. I don't know. There's a website called By the Numbers. Let me try this.
You try Box Office Mojo. I love we're doing our research as
okay.
We're,
All right. So okay. So it has 14 mil. 14 mil domestic box office all time. It has the same number for worldwide box office. So I don't know. I imagine it was further financial details. Domestic box office.
Wow. How does like I said, how does a movie like that? I mean, that's a failure, isn't it?
Let's see here. My notes say Cannon deliberately released it on the traditional slow weekend after Labor Day, which is the first Monday in September.
Right.
With no studio releases, and it had limited competition. It opened on 973 screen, grossed $4.1 million in the opening weekend, making it the third most popular film in the country.
Which wasn't bad. Which wasn't bad back then.
Yeah. No. I mean, $15 million in 1989 is worth what? $600 million today.
Just about, yeah.
Groo, what was the critical response to Kickboxer? On IMDb, I just wanted to read one of the readers' review, which called it a great Van Damme movie from the good old days. Quote, "This is a splendid movie. It's Van Damme exactly as I want to see him. Great martial arts action movie, a decent plot, even if it's not original at all. Cool characters and a great 80s soundtrack. The movie is somewhat different from Bloodsport. Of course, there are similarities too, like an evil fighting champion that Van Damme is fighting." Let's go to the real critical reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, Groo. The film has an approval rating. You want to give it a guess from 0 to 100%?
Yes.
You want to go Rotten Tomatoes? What do you got?
I'm going to say, and my theory is, I'm going to say it's in like the mid 60s. And the reason that I say that, I could be way off, but the reason that I say that is because the people watching this movie, the audience people watching this movie, are the type of people who are looking for exactly what it delivers.
Well, okay, so Rotten Tomatoes is the film reviewers. Metacritic, I believe, no, Metacritic is the same. So I have for Rotten Tomatoes an approval rating of 36% based on reviews from 11
That's critic. I'm talking audience, though. Isn't there an audience score?
I don't have it. I have Metacritic also gave it a score of 33%. Let me read you what I got. I got Chris Coleman of the Los Angeles Times called the film egregiously dull and a contender for, quote, the dumbest action picture of the year, citing its jarring shifts in tone, insurmountable plot implausibilities, rampant racial stereotyping, superfluous nudity, inhuman amounts of comically exaggerated violence. Willman also questioned the manner in which characters seem to recover from serious injuries and major trauma.
Well, they're reviewing it like they probably reviewed like Shawshank Redemption in the same article. It's like they're reviewing it as they're looking for plot. They're looking for things that were never going to be there anyway. So I think that's a little bit of a pompous review. To expect Academy Award level cinematography from Kickboxer. But to each his own. But I have to say, I just looked up that audience review, that audience percentage that I just gave you, and I said it was. I predicted it was going to be somewhere in like the mid 60s, 64%. I was very on the nose with that one. But that's the audience. That's people like us watching the movie, not critics.
Well, people like us, we don't want to. Talking heads. Well, Groo, listen. Let's give the floor to you, Andrew Van Groothius. The proverbial floor is yours. Did Van Damme improve upon Bloodsport? Final thoughts on Kickboxer. Give us your overall review at this time.
Van Damme improved on Bloodsport very, very slightly, in only that I found the story a little more involving. But on every other front, it's basically the same movie. And the choreography hasn't improved. It's just such the the lack of budget is there on screen, and I know that was Cannon's big thing at the time. It was almost on purpose, but watching it through a 21st century lens, you kind of wish that they would kind of take movies like this maybe and spend a couple of bucks and go in and fix them up a little bit. It can be done. But I guess some things are left better unsaid or undone. So I enjoyed the experience of rewatching it again. I will not be rewatching it or its sequels in the future. But it's an interesting journey that we're on, seeing the evolution of Van Damme. I don't think he takes a step forward here. That doesn't mean he's not going to. So I'm going to give this, is it Karate Kicks or what is it?
Yeah, because it's Kickboxer, yeah.
Mai Tais. We'll give it Mai Tais. Mai Tais.
Fine. How many Mai Tais?
Okay, I'm giving it 2 Mai Tais. I think I gave Bloodsport, 2.5? I think I gave it 2 or something. I'm gonna put this one just under Bloodsport only because it doesn't go as far as it could have to improve upon Bloodsport. So I'm going to give it 2 out of 4.
Okay.
What say you?
Thank you, Andrew. What did I like about Kickboxer? I thought, Dennis Chan as Jean, Rochelle Ashana as Miley, they were good. That's about it. What did I dislike about this movie? Unlike Andrew, I'll disagree with him slightly. This movie's not as good as Bloodsport. Bloodsport, to me, almost had
That's what I said. I said it wasn't as good.
I thought you said, okay, well, all right, maybe you're referring to Van Damme incrementally improving. But to me, I think, as to quote Gary Delabate, this is a bit of a stumble for Jean-Claude. If we're going to talk about Bloodsport comparison, which I think is a fair, apt comparison, it's his prior movie. Mm-hmm. The cast is significantly weaker. It's a weaker storyline. Bloodsport, it's the same. I thought Bloodsport did everything better. The fight scenes in this movie I found not to be too engaging. I don't know. Van Damme has some weird psychic connection with the eagle throughout the movie. And so to me, my notes, it's a small step down from Bloodsport. I think Van Damme here, I agree with Andrew. He's solid. He can emote emotion. But at times, his acting, he overacts. And, even the villain, Tong Po, is way over the top. The movie is passable for me. As Andrew, you got to reference, it's a late 80s action movie, which it's a different time. So to me, listen, if you want to kill an hour and a half, 2 hours, you could do a lot worse. But the movie is passable. So if we're doing the Mai Tai scale, I actually had in my notes, I had kicks to the head, but we'll do 1.5 Mai Tais. Is maybe 1.5, 1 3/4. It's not good.
It's not. You're right.
Bloodsport to me, pretty much the same story, which is disappointing because Van Damme, it's again like Andy said, same setup. Friend, family gets hurt, and we're gonna enact revenge. I just thought on a silly, ridiculous movie level, Bloodsport did it a lot better with a lot better cast. And I agree with Andrew. The money's not really here. The production values are similar, maybe even a little worse. I felt like Kickboxer was a little bit of a stumble for Jean-Claude.
Yeah,
and again, Angie makes a good point. Here's my last point. I'm watching it in a 2021 lens. So in 1989 when I was 18, 19 years old, I probably I know I didn't love it, but I probably liked it. But today, I'm not going back and watching Kickboxer again.
I will say this: I do remember when I saw it for the first time. It wasn't in the theater; it was on video, probably a year or two after it came out. And I do remember asking the same question about why don't they just make him from Brussels? Why are they trying to pass him off as an American when he's clearly not? Like, why do they? There's no reason for it. Is it because they think that people won't root on, like American audiences won't root on a foreign character? They worked for Schwarzenegger. Although, to be fair, Schwarzenegger's names in movies like what was it, John Matrix in Commando? So I guess they're guilty of the same thing. So you know what? Forget it. Everybody was doing it, so fine. I'll give it to him. But I think. Look, I think we covered it. But how are there so many? Let's see. They had Kickboxer 2. This was the only one that Van Damme was in. They had Sasha Mitchell. Did the franchise extend into American Kickboxer, or was that a completely separate thing with Michael Dudikoff? Was that Michael Dudikoff?
Briefly. Yeah, I believe that it was just a Kickboxer because they did, I believe, a Kickboxer 2 and 3, and then I think I did like Kickboxer semicolon. Blah, 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 blah. I think Sasha Mitchell was involved with 2 and 3. Michael Kesey Tong Po, I know, is definitely in the second one, which from reading it, the setup is really ridiculous in Kickboxer 2. Really ridiculous.
Well, now he's from outer space or something?
We'll save it. Well, I mean, I don't want to give away a spoiler.
No, you know what we'll do? Wait. No. You know what we'll do? We could maybe do our season finale of Van Dammit. Maybe we can.
So here's my question. So here's a good point. I was thinking about this yesterday. So today is S1E3. This is our third episode.
Right.
All right. So this now, the next Van Dammit is we're going into the 90s. So does that move us into season 2, or are we still in season 1?
No, I say season 1. I say we'll probably always be in season 1. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck it.
No, but I was going to say.
Right.
I was going to say maybe like our season finale, like when we can decide that at some time. I would say there's two. The 80s is too small. We need to. Let's look at the filmography and decide where we're going to end.
Because when we're done with Van Damme, we're still going to continue.
Yes.
We'll just do.
But what I'm saying is, we can off the air, we can look at the filmography and say, okay, here's a good place to end season 1 because here's where he takes, a step in this direction or whatever. What I was going to say is maybe for like our season finale, we could do like what Ryan Rebalkin does on one of his podcasts and take like the best of the worst, and like take all the second tier Van Damme movies and just like talk about them a little bit. Like I don't know, because we're not covering everything.
No, we're doing nothing worthwhile in this, so we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll do the Van Dammies.
Okay, the Van Dammies. I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good
Thank
one.
You.
There you go.
Andrew, speaking of
finally, you're going to contribute something to the show, for God's sake.
That's right. Thank you. Well, speaking of the show, our home podcast, our original podcast,
our bread and butter,
Moody and Groo. Next week, Andrew, 2000, I think it's 14. I may be wrong. It might be 15. We're going to cover. Andrew and I got a chance to sit down together in New York, jacked at it, and watch this Kevin Hart, Josh Gad, Wedding Ringer, thought to be Kevin Hart's first major starring role, 2014. He's the best man that money could buy, Andrew. It's The Wedding Ringer.
I can't wait. I love that movie. Well, I'm giving a spoiler alert, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I mean, look, when we do movies, aside from Van Dammit, we do ones that we generally like. But with Van Dammit,
sometimes we cover stuff that we either disagree on or that we don't.
That's true. That's true. But I'm looking forward to. We had a great time watching this movie in New York, and I can't wait to talk about that. But what's next for Van Dammit?
Thank you, Andrew. Our next Van Dammit podcast, listen attentively, as Andrew and I will break down 1990s Lionheart. Honor or Revenge. He has no choice. I also can't wait to see Cobra villain Brian Thompson. Groo.
Yes.
Lionheart.
Brian Thompson. I remember him.
Yeah, he had like that lock iron jaw and like basically kind of bad superficial acne.
Yeah. He was also in The Terminator. Do you remember who he played in The Terminator?
Was he the guy, like the first guy that was killed, like one of the thugs?
Yeah, he and Bill Paxton and a third guy. I don't know who the third guy was, but yeah, Brian Thompson was like the bigger of the. I think he was like he was either Nice Night for a Walk or Nothing Clean. One of those two lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to Lionheart. That'll be fun. We'll see if that's the one that brings Jean-Claude into the stratosphere. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
Well,
we'll leave you on that teaser. That's it for this episode of Van Dammit. Andrew and I will bid you a fond French adieu as we say, no retreat!
No surrender!
Noxu cow!
Noxu cow! Noxu cow!
Noxu
Noxu cow!
Noxu cow!
Noxu cow!
Noxu cow!
Are we still on? Take care, everybody. See you next time on Van Dammit.
Take care.
Everybody was